Okay, got a couple things to say about this foreclosure moratorium that has hit the nation, right? We've got a scenario where, as of the 26th, it was 26th or the 27th, the government went ahead and it kind of silently, this wasn't necessarily in the mainstream media, and I don't use that term quite a bit. Hey, the mainstream media is hiding things from us. I'm not getting at that. What I am saying is that I've got a scenario where um, there is, this was not on the front page of Google, is what I'm getting at, okay? So, the foreclosure moratorium was delayed from June 30th to July 31st. And I had an interesting conversation with one of my attorneys, and she's, we're kind of going through it, and she's like, you know what, in my opinion, all right, in my professional opinion, as your attorney, like, to quote the Fear and Loathing movie, I suggest you do this. I suggest you stock up on houses. Let me not get too far off the rails. What I am saying is that this attorney suggested that, hey, when the government does something like that low key, it's her experience that it's probably going to be one of the last times that something like this happens. Now, whether they don't extend it to past the 31st of July, you will see. Maybe it goes one more time down to August 31st or 30th rather. I think the idea is that we're getting close. All right. Now, another YouTube channel that I was watching, this gentleman, the question mark guy, the grants, he's talking like, their SBA loans, and I'll tie this in together, but here's, a couple different things to build this base. $30 billion worth of SBA loans that have not, that was the total budget, and only 1.5 billion have been claimed. So essentially, what he was getting at is that the government's not able to give away this money, or it's not easy enough for the population to get, or whatever it is. Okay, we know that the government needs acceleration, the speed of money to flow in order to really keep all this, this printing going. You got a lot of inflation. There's even talk of deflation going on at the moment. But here's what I'm seeing. You still have a lack of inventory in the real estate market. Okay, right now we're in the middle of kind of that cyclical shutdown. Okay, traditionally what was seen as an automotive shutdown, the 4th of July week, traditionally in real estate kind of hits a bit of a flat. Okay, for 2 weeks, and again it happens over in December to between Christmas and New Year's is typically the shutdown. So cyclical, happens every year, lows in the business. We got these foreclosures that are looming. Okay, we've told the story. We bought a house from a guy over in Redford, and he hadn't made a payment in I don't know, a year. Right? Sorry about I don't have my gimbal today. I'm holding the camera with my hands. The guy had made a payment in a whole year. Okay, over a year, and he gets one of these threatening letters from the bank saying, hey, notice of intent to foreclose. Okay, I can only imagine what's going through the dude's head. He's like, oh man, I'm gonna get foreclosed on. But what you don't know is that you can't actually get foreclosed on right now because the government won't allow it. Now, here's what ends up happening. Let me fast forward to months down the road, and we don't know which date it's going to be because the foreclosure moratorium is not lifted yet. Let's say it gets lifted at the end of July. Okay, now everybody's got to go through the foreclosure process. There's banks that'll go ahead and possibly renegotiate with their lender or the borrowers, and then there's some that'll just go directly into the foreclosure process. Now, keep in mind that folks that have not made payments for a whole year probably do not have stellar credit. Okay, just going out on a limb there. Will there be money available or some sort of an exception for banks to go ahead and provide that exception? Like, here, you can get this money, but you got to go ahead and provide an extension for the people that, so we don't have a big mass wave of foreclosures, right? I think that's really what it gets at. But if you are in that situation where you are going to get foreclosed on, you've got to understand that you've got not a forbearance period, but it's a term I'm looking for. You know what? Redemption period. That's it. 6 months. That's state law here in Michigan. I think it's pretty well across the board. So you have 6 months to go ahead and redeem that. Now, it'd have to be a cash sale, but I suspect this is what would end up happening. Once that moratorium gets lifted, now we've got people who are going to sell their house, because if you haven't been making payments, you've got bad credit, maybe. The banks haven't refinanced you, you typically are going to have some equity, which means that you can sell on the open market. Or if you're panicked enough and you just want to get out, there's always cash options out there. We can buy those houses cash. Reach out to me for more details on that stuff if you want. But are we going to have a big wave of foreclosures coming? Maybe. We'll see. Unless the government really pulls something out of their hat and says, no, you can stay. Because there's been talk and legislation of people that can go ahead and extend up to like 40 years, and then for a new mortgage, and then that gets, and these are Fannie and Freddie backed mortgages, and then those 40 years new mortgages and everything that was in the forbearance period or haven't been made payments on, that would get put to the back of the loan, so you can now start fresh. But if there's a discipline issue making payments, or if there's seriously an issue where people cannot make those payments because of underemployment and unemployment, then we've got that to address. So are we dealing with a wave of foreclosures? We've been tracking them over at our office here in the state of Michigan, and we've not really reached a peak of over 250 a month. But that's because the moratorium's in place. Back in February of 2010, the state of Michigan, the whole state, they were getting, I think, 6,600 foreclosures for that particular month of February in 2010. So that's perspective for you. And that's going back to the history. So food for thought for today. I'm wondering where this is going to go. All right, I'm watching. I know that you're watching. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. Ask questions. If you've got something to add, if you know something that I haven't covered in this video to be true, please add it. Because again, we're all here to learn and get things taken care of, and ultimately help others, through this process. So my name is Dean Gazowski. I'm with 3D Property Solutions, and if you need to reach out to us directly over at the office, you can find us. Just Google, find us on Facebook, or send me a PM, and I'll be more than happy to connect with you and continue to build this relationship. So signing out, guys. If again, subscribe, like the channel, and we'll go from there. Talk to you soon.